Yeah. So good evening, everyone. Welcome to this session of Ask the Experts. दोस्तों आप सभी का ये सेशन में स्वागत है. एंड दोस्तों ये सेशन क्या ज़रूरत क्यों है या ये इसका पर्पस क्या है? बिकॉज हम आपसे जुड़ना चाहते हैं. काफ़ी कुछ जो होता है मार्केट का आउटलुक वो हम आपसे शेयर करना चाहते हैं और साथ ही साथ अगर आपकी कोई क्वेरीज है या कहीं पे आप स्टॉक सेक्टर उसके बारे में आप कुछ जानना चाहते हो या पूछना चाहते हो, फंडामेंटली हो या टेक्निकली हो, तो आप हमसे पूछ सकते हो. मैं हूं सुदीप शाह और मेरे कलीग सनी अग्रवाल वो भी हमारे साथ जुड़े हुए हैं. सनी, इफ यू वुड जस्ट
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining us today for this special webinar on Ask Us Anything. So, like every month, we conduct this webinar once so that we can have more of an interactive session and try to address all your queries pertaining to your short-term, long-term, as well as medium-term investment horizon. So, I'm Sunny, and I take care of fundamental research desk at SBI Securities. And over to you, Sudeep. If you can just walk us through what is the view on how are the charts looking and what are the derivatives data telling in terms of market trajectory from short to medium term perspective.
Absolutely. So friends, see what has happened in the last several weeks is if you see straight from last 8 weeks, Nifty is almost forming a lower top, lower bottom kind of pattern. Not exactly like a textbook pattern, but yes, it is in a declining trend. There is relentless selling from FIIs in the cash segment, almost 1.5, 1.6 lakh crores worth of cash stocks being sold. Now, there are a lot of reasons behind this. Now, we've seen in the first week of November, we've seen Donald Trump winning the US presidential elections, where now he's expected that it's expected that the America First policies, which he would be announcing once he takes over, it could lead to a lot of disruption, and dollar index has strengthened. Now, this is the biggest negative from an emerging market perspective. And more than that, the numbers of the corporate, they have weakened. So what has happened is that this prior to the market rallying before October, the whole rally was on the premise of liquidity or on the lower dollar index around 102, 103, and the crude prices being stable around $70, $75. But the dollar index now strengthening beyond 106 levels has changed the entire equation, plus the results not coming up to the mark. So what has happened is that with this, Nifty has fallen by almost 11.5%. And if you see Bank Nifty, now here Bank Nifty has kind of outperformed by falling only 8.5%. So what has happened is that if you see relatively, yes, Bank Nifty has outperformed, but in Nifty there have been sharper cuts. If you see the derivative data now, cash data, we saw that it's a big sell number in the cash segment, but FIIs in the derivative side are also on the selling front. The long short ratio, which until a few months earlier, कुछ महीनों पहले तक ये long short ratio जो अराउंड 60, 65, 70, 75% भी जा चुका था, वो अब 22-25% के आसपास है. तो यहाँ पे भी दोस्तों क्या होता है कि जरूरी नहीं है कि वो 25% है इसलिए बॉटम बन गया. पास्ट में हमने देखा है कि 15% तक भी लॉन्ग शॉर्ट रेशियो गया है, जहां पे 15% लॉन्ग पोजीशंस और 85% शॉर्ट पोजीशंस रही है. पर 25% के आसपास अब जब आ रहा है ना, तो और मार्केट जब ऊपर से 10-12% टूट चुका है, तो एटलीस्ट अब ये लेवल से अब मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि वो शॉर्ट साइड पे जो रिस्क रिवॉर्ड रेशियो है ना, वो नहीं बैठेगा यहाँ से एक फ्रेश शॉर्ट पोजीशन ऊपर करने में. और आज भी आप देखिए, आज जैसे मॉर्निंग में जैसे अदानी ग्रुप के रिलेटेड ये जो नेगेटिव न्यूज आई और उसके बाद हमने सारे अदानी स्टॉक्स में सेलिंग प्रेशर देखे, साथ ही साथ पीएसयू बैंक्स में भी बहुत बड़ा सेलिंग ये प्रेशर देखा गया. लेकिन एग्जांपल देखिए, बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा है, कैनरा बैंक है, वहां से आप दोपहर के बाद लोअर लेवल से एक बाइंग भी आया और जो स्टॉक 6, 7, 8% नीचे थे, वो वहां पे 2.5-3% के आसपास आके रिकवर कर गए, बिकॉज पहले से ऑलरेडी ये सब स्टॉक्स में काफी एक सेलिंग प्रेशर आया हुआ है. तो मुझे लग रहा है अब यहाँ से फ्रेश शॉर्टिंग थोड़ा एडवाइजेबल नहीं है. यहाँ से अप्रोच क्या होना चाहिए कि एक आप सपोर्ट लेवल ढूंढे, फिर वहां पे वो सपोर्ट लेवल से जब निफ्टी पलट रहा है, तो ऐसा कौन सा स्पेस है जो अब तक ज्यादा गिरा नहीं और वो जो आउट परफॉर्म कर रहा था, या फिर कौन सा बढ़ रहा था एक गिरते हुए मार्केट में, तो वो सारे स्पेसेस में आपको एक आउट परफॉर्मेंस अभी भी देखने मिलेगा. डेटा की यदि बात करें तो पहले तो निफ्टी लेवल्स की बात कर लेते हैं। तो निफ्टी में जैसे हमने बोला 11 साढ़े 11% तक का जो ये जो सेलिंग प्रेशर आया है, यहाँ पे आप देखिए कि अब 200 दिन का जो मूविंग एवरेज है, एक्सपोनेंशियल हो या सिंपल हो, दोनों के नीचे अब आ चुका है निफ्टी। पर मेरे हिसाब से वो 200 दिन का जो मूविंग एवरेज है वो एक साइकोलॉजिकल सपोर्ट था। तो व्हेन यू सी दीस काइंड ऑफ नंबर्स, यू शुड राउंड फिगर्स 23,500 550, यू शुड नेवर गो ऑन जस्ट बिकॉज वो टच करेगा इसलिए वहां से एक 200 डीएमए वुड ऑफर अ सपोर्ट एंड यू वुड सी अ बिग बाउंस बैक। नो, द रियल सपोर्ट ऑन द डाउन साइड फॉर निफ्टी अकॉर्डिंग टू अस, जो हमें लग रहा है कि एक इंपॉर्टेंट सपोर्ट जोन रहेगा, वो है 23,000 से लेके 23,200 के बीच में, जो यहाँ से 150-200 पॉइंट दूर है। पर वो इसका इंपॉर्टेंस क्यों है? क्योंकि आप देखिए कि जो जून महीने में जो इलेक्शन के बाद जो डिप आया था 21,280 का जो लो था, और साथ में मेरे हिसाब से जैन मंथ में भी एक लो यही लेवल के आसपास था, 21,137। तो ये दोनों लो तकरीबन सिमिलर एरिया में है, और यहाँ से लेके आप अगर ऑल टाइम हाई का जो ये लेवल है 26,300 के आसपास का, तो वहां का आप एक फिबोनाची रिट्रेसमेंट भी निकाले तो 61% का जो रिट्रेसमेंट होता है ना, 61.8%, वो आता है 23,166, 23,166, ये एक नंबर है। तो मुझे लग रहा है 23,000 और 23,200 के बीच में जो ये बैंड है वो एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट सपोर्ट जोन का रोल प्ले करेगा। तो 23,200 ये एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट सपोर्ट जोन बन के रहेगा। अब आते हैं दोस्तों बैंक निफ्टी की तरफ। अब आप बैंक निफ्टी देखिए। अब बैंक निफ्टी में यहां से जो राइट साइड का जो आपका जो चार्ट है वो बैंक निफ्टी का है। तो यहाँ पे बैंक निफ्टी में देखिए कि ये जो एक ट्रेंड लाइन हमने ड्रॉ किया है, वो उसका जो सपोर्ट जोन है वो 49,300 49,500 के आसपास आता है। और मुझे लग रहा है कि बैंक निफ्टी यहाँ पे एक रीटेस्ट करके इसका ये जो एक फॉल जो होना था वो डाउन ट्रेंड खत्म करेगा और वहां से कंसोलिडेट करके ये रिबाउंड कर सकता है। तो देयर इज वन चांस कि वो 49,400 49,500 के आसपास का बैंक निफ्टी एक बॉटम बनाए, एंड देन वहां से ये ऊपर जाए। जरूरी नहीं कल हो, बट ये अगले 10-15 दिन में कभी भी एक मूव यहां तक का लाइकली, एंड देन बॉटम फॉर्मेशन वुड स्टार्ट हैपनिंग। अब अगर दूसरा एक जो मैं स्टार्टिंग में हम बात कर रहे थे कि जो डॉलर इंडेक्स के बारे में, अब देखिए डॉलर इंडेक्स यहाँ पे चार्ट देखिए, निफ्टी का डाउन मूव और डॉलर इंडेक्स का राइट साइड का जो चार्ट है वो डॉलर इंडेक्स है, लेफ्ट वाला निफ्टी है। तो निफ्टी में जैसे गिरावट पिछले कुछ सेशंस में देखी गई, वैसा ही एक रिवर्स मिरर आपको डॉलर इंडेक्स में आप देख रहे हैं। तो यहाँ पे एक रियल रीजन मार्केट्स का गिरने का यही है। और जैसे ही डॉलर इंडेक्स अगर आपको 105 105 के नीचे जाते हुए दिखेगा कि एक टॉप बन रहा है यहाँ पे, तो मुझे लग रहा है वो एक बड़ा सिग्नल होगा निफ्टी में एक रिवर्सल के पर्सपेक्टिव का। साथ में अगर एक दो सेक्टर्स देख ले अगर खाली हम, तो बैंक निफ्टी तो हमने देखा है, हम ऑटो का जो स्पेस है, ऑटो सेक्टर, वो भी एक देख लेते हैं। अब ऑटो सेक्टर में भी भारी गिरावट देखी गई थी, तकरीबन 28,000 से लेके 23,100 तक हमने देखा है कि ऑटो सेक्टर गिर चुका है। पर यहाँ पे मुझे लग रहा है कि काइंड ऑफ एक बॉटम फॉर्मेशन होगा, क्योंकि आप देखिए कि विद इन द ऑटो स्पेस कौन से स्टॉक्स बढ़ रहे हैं। आइशर मोटर्स, M&M, हीरो के नंबर्स पिछले कुछ सेशन में अच्छे हैं, तो वहां पे भी एक बॉटम फॉर्मेशन का एक्टिविटी हो रहा है। तो मुझे लग रहा है कि अगर निफ्टी जैसे ही रिबाउंड करेगा तो पहला स्पेस जो एक अच्छा सेटअप दिखा सकेगा आने वाले कुछ सेशन में, वो उसमें से एक ऑटो भी हो सकता है। दूसरा है कैपिटल गुड्स। तो मुझे लग रहा है कैपिटल गुड्स में भी एक अच्छा मोमेंटम रह सकता है। तो ऑटो, कैपिटल गुड्स, और तीसरा स्पेस जो है जहां पे ऑलरेडी हम देख रहे हैं कि एक अच्छा मोमेंटम बना हुआ है मार्केट में, वो है आईटी का। अब देखिए निफ्टी में जो गिरावट है वहां पे आईटी परफॉर्म नहीं, आईटी पार्टिसिपेट नहीं कर रहा है वो गिरावट में, और वहां पे आपको एक आउट परफॉर्मेंस भी आप देख पाओगे। अगर आप साथ में देखिए, ये निफ्टी के साथ हमने CNX IT का निफ्टी के साथ का एक कंपैरेटिव चार्ट रखा है, रेशियो चार्ट रखा है, जो ये दिखाता है कि क्या ये सेक्टर इंडेक्स से आउट परफॉर्म कर पाएगा कि नहीं। तो यहाँ पे ये देखिए कि एक अप ट्रेंडिंग चार्ट है यहाँ पे ये रेशियो चार्ट पर, कि दैट शोज दैट कंपेयर्ड टू निफ्टी CNX IT काफी आउट परफॉर्मेंस दिखा रहा है, और इसमें ये है कि ये पोटेंशियल है कि ये आउट परफॉर्मेंस यहाँ से जारी रह सकता है। अब आते हैं खाली एक जस्ट बिफोर आई हैंड इट ओवर टू सनी, खाली एक दो चीजें जो मैं खाली बताना चाहता हूँ कि जैसे स्टॉक्स की अगर बात करें कि बैंकिंग में जो आउट परफॉर्मेंस हमने देखा है वो काफी हद तक जो आईसीआईसीआई बैंक कम गिरा है और एचडीएफसी बैंक ने आउट परफॉर्म किया है, उसी की वजह से मुझे लग रहा है बैंक निफ्टी अभी तक बचा, और मुझे लग रहा है एचडीएफसी बैंक में अभी भी पोटेंशियल है। तो कुछ स्टॉक्स निफ्टी के हैं जैसे पावर ग्रिड, एक्सिस, डिविस, एचडीएफसी बैंक, एमएनएम, टेक महिंद्रा, आइशर, तो यहाँ पे मुझे लग रहा है ये कुछ पोटेंशियल आउट परफॉर्मर्स रह सकते हैं आने वाले कुछ सप्ताह के लिए। एंड अगर आप देखें कि अंडर परफॉर्मेंस में तो एफएमसीजी, कंजम्पशन, पीएसयू, बैंक्स, ये सब में जो ब्रेकडाउन आया है, तो थोड़ा रिवर्सल पैटर्न यहाँ पे बने एक बार, उसके बाद ही हमें थोड़ा ध्यान इसके ऊपर देना चाहिए, बिकॉज ये सब अभी भी ओवरसोल्ड जोन में है। लेकिन एक चीज आप याद रखिए दोस्तों, जस्ट फॉर एक समझाने के लिए मैं आपको बोल रहा हूँ कि कभी भी कोई इंडेक्स या कोई स्टॉक ओवरसोल्ड में होता है, उसका ये मतलब नहीं है कि तुरंत वहां से बाउंस बैक आ जाए या 200 डीएमए को टच करता है उसके बाद बाउंस बैक आना चाहिए, नहीं। वो बॉटम फॉर्मेशन अपने ही तरीके से करेगा, तो जरूरी नहीं है बिकॉज ओवरसोल्ड में तो बाउंस आएगा, बिकॉज वो ओवरसोल्ड में कुछ दिनों तक और सेलिंग प्रेशर आ सकता है और वहां पे थोड़ा रिस्क रिवॉर्ड डिस्टॉर्ट हो सकता है। एफएनओ स्टॉक्स में अगर देखते हैं तो फेडरल बैंक है, डिक्सन है, इंडियन होटल्स है, कोफोर्ज, एमसीएक्स, ये सब में एक अच्छा मोमेंटम बना हुआ है। और बाकी काफी स्टॉक्स में देख रहे हैं कि सेलिंग प्रेशर काफी एक्सटेंसिव हो गया है, तो वहां पे थोड़ा रुक के आप बॉटम फिशिंग करिए, थोड़ा वेट एंड वॉच करिए, क्योंकि जब तक एक रिवर्सल पैटर्न कहीं पे नहीं बनता है ना, तब तक मुझे नहीं लग रहा है कि हमें रिस्क लेना चाहिए, अनड्यू रिस्क लेना चाहिए, बिकॉज रिस्क रिवॉर्ड रेशियो आपके फेवर में नहीं रहेगा। So that's about it from my side. I'll just hand it over to Sunny for his opening remarks, and then we can then take the Q&A session from everyone.
Yeah, thanks, Sudeep. Sorry. Thank you, Sudeep. Yeah, so coming to fundamental side, I think we all know that quarter two has not been too good in terms of earning growth. So most of the sectors and companies either have reported inline set of number or they have disappointed street in terms of reporting the quarter two numbers. And one thing is very clear that most of the companies have alluded to the fact that there is a slowdown in urban consumption. But however, the rural market, after the span of 2 to 3 years, we are seeing a recovery in a rural market, and that is backed by the basically a very good monsoon which we have seen this year. And on the top of that, because of election, there is a lot of political link pending which is happening at a ground level. So that is also giving some confidence to the rural based economy. So it was a kind of mixed bag kind of earning season so far. Having said that, now what should be your strategy going forward in your medium to long term portfolio? I think we have already seen that Nifty has corrected more than 10% from its peak. However, many stocks have corrected by more than 20, 30, 40% from their peak, and we have seen a serious dent to the portfolio of mid cap and small cap during the last 1.5 and 2 months. And this was primarily driven by two reasons, as we have discussed, that earnings were not in line with expectation. And at the same time, what we have seen is that liquidity driven pressure, which is the continuous selling from foreign institutional investor. So we all know that foreign institutional investors have been selling since last 34, 35 trading session, more than 35 trading session, and they have offloaded equity worth more than 1.2 lakh crore rupees. Thank God that domestic institutions were sitting on a very robust liquidity, and that led to the minimum dent as far as especially large caps are concerned. Now coming to valuation, again on valuation front, I feel Nifty is neither trading at expensive valuation nor at a very cheaper valuation. So average, if I see for FY25, Nifty is trading at close to 21 times price to earning, and on FY26 close to 19 times price to earning multiple. So I think a lot of comfort is already there as far as Nifty is concerned. Now the only the concern is the continuous selling by foreign institutional investor, which is predominantly driven by 2-3 factors. One is with the Trump likely to, or with the Trump assuming the president chair in the month of Jan, the Trump trade is something which started to pan out a month prior to the election outcome, and that has led to the moving of foreign institutional investor fund from emerging markets. So there has been selling across all the emerging markets and buying in the US market, and at the same time that has led to the spike in the US 10-year bond yield. At the same time, US dollar has also strengthened during the last 1.5-2 months. That led to the continuous outflow of money from emerging markets like India and other emerging markets. And all the money is chasing US equities, where the Trump is expected to reduce the corporate tax rate, and that will likely lead to the earning upgrade as far as US based companies are concerned. Coming to the what should be the strategy in the portfolio going forward, I think going forward for the next few months, that is at least 2 to 3 months, I think the market may continue to remain range bound. बट अगर आप आपके पोर्टफोलियो की बात करते हो तो मुझे लगता है कि थोड़ा सा चूजी होना पड़ेगा. वी हैव टू बी स्टॉक पिकर एट अ करंट जंक्चर. अर्लियर इट यूज्ड टू हैपन कि पहले आपने कोई भी एक सेक्टर पकड़ा और उसी के सभी स्टॉक एक साथ चलते थे. But now there will be a clear bifurcation between mains and boys. So the companies which are reporting a good set of numbers, there we will see a kind of relative outperformance. तो थोड़ा सा पोर्टफोलियो चर्न करने का समय आया है. द स्टॉक विच आर नॉट डूइंग वेल, और जहां आप कुछ किसी के कहने पर कोई स्टॉक में फंस गए हैं और ड्यू टू सम रीजन कंपनी या सेक्टर का आउटलुक ही पूरा निगेटिव हो गया है, वहां से निकल करके जो बेहतर सेक्टर है वहां मूव होने की सलाह रहेगी. rather than discussing which are the sectors which are likely to do well, I think Sudeep has already covered that auto is likely to do well. Banking, again, within banking certain names have reported good set of number. So I think rather than going stock specific, I think we should open the floor for Q&A so that we can have this session more of an interactive nature. Yeah, so Sudeep, let us start with the Q&A session and move on to our first question of the day. So the first question is from Bhavik Rathod, and his question is on SWSOLAR. However, he has not mentioned what what he wants to understand on SWSOLAR. But I think ultimately the view on SWSOLAR continue to remain positive. We have already seen a significant correction in the stock price, and the reason for the same was a muted set of number in Q2. But company has went on record to say that second half is the period where they will report a very healthy execution as far as their order book is concerned, and company is confident that they will report close to 8,000 crore kind of top line during the current fiscal year. So I believe that December quarter is the quarter which can be a very robust quarter for SWSOLAR, and I will request you to remain invested in the company, and let us discuss this company again post December quarter results. The next question is from Surya Prakash ji. He is asking how to buy and sell. So Surya Prakash ji, I think you are asking about how to buy or sell on SBI Securities mobile app. So what I would recommend you is that on our YouTube channel, SBI Securities YouTube channel, there is one already a recorded video which is available how to navigate SBI Securities mobile app. You can go through that, and in case post that, even if you are still confused how to operate the SBI Securities mobile app, you can get in touch with our customer care desk, and we will be happy to assist you on how to know how to operate the SBI Securities mobile app. There is a message from Dr. Chauhan. Your message notification message show late in our inbox. I believe Dr. Chauhan is telling that our notification messages are coming with a slight delay in your mobile notification. So I think, we have never heard such kind of message from anybody. I think your suggestion is well noted. We will check with our product team and share the feedback with them. Otherwise, I believe that all our messages are on a real-time basis. That should not be an issue.
Yeah, the next question is from Mr. Jitendra Goyal. He's asking short-term and long-term view on MOIL. I'll share the short-term perspective and will request Sunny then to help us with the long-term outlook also. The short-term view on the charts of MOIL is negative. We've seen a topping out pattern closer to 450 to 500, 530 zone. And then now the stock is almost completed its entire journey of that rally. What has happened from 7th March, right from 300 levels to 550, the stock is back. So the entire rally is now nullified, and the next support zone going forward would be closer to 245 and followed by 220. So that the extreme short-term trend is downside, the medium as well as the long-term trend also has turned negative. Plus, there could be just a slight pullback because the stock is in complete oversold territory. So any rises closer to 300, 310, I guess would be met with resistance at higher levels. So there could be definitely because of the oversold nature from the current levels, there could be a pullback. But yes, 305, 310 levels will act as a resistance at on highs, and the stock then is slated to go much lower than the current price. So I feel that from the current levels, the outlook for technically it's a bit negative.
Yeah,
Sunny,
coming to long-term view, I think we continue to remain constructive on MOIL as a bet. Again, it's a proxy play on stainless steel growth story of India. So basically, MOIL manufactures manganese, which is one of the key important raw material which is used for making manufacture for use for manufacturing of stainless steel. And if you look at monthly sales number of MOIL, they have been creating record every month on month. Only pricing is the issue, which is because of the many global factors which has led to the weak pricing environment for MOIL. So if you are a medium to long term investor, I think it's a good opportunity to add stock in your portfolio. I know we have our call open on MOIL and the stock is down 30-40% from our recommended price. But what has happened, one has to keep in mind that post our recommendation, we have in fact achieved our target price. And then we turn greedy that we will try to capture more gain for our client. But somehow, due to the globally volatile environment, many news coming from China, US, that led to the correction in the entire metal pack. And MOIL was also not spare because of that. And but we continue to remain bullish on MOIL as a business. We have one has to keep in mind that metal as a pack is always a cyclical story, and there will be an extreme volatility, whether it is MOIL, Tata Steel, Hindalco, you name any metal company, you will always see a volatility during a global news flow, which is affecting the global growth outlook. So, in case you are holding the stock at a higher level, I would in fact recommend you to gradually accumulate and average out your holding in the MOIL from a medium to long term perspective. So there are so many questions on Adani. So somebody is asking what is the market strategy about Adani stock. So one has to keep in mind that Adani stocks were under pressure due to the allegation that they have bribed government to secure a contract in India. But one has to keep in mind that Adani's most of the business are in the infrastructure space. And looking at the way the kind of infrastructure sector operate globally, I think these allegations are a minor allegation, and it is not the first time that any company which has got a global operations which operate in a multiple country, multiple businesses, even companies like Google also receive such kind of allegation, and there is a fine to the tune of 500 $800 million. So it is, if you go into the history, you will find many companies across the globe where one government or other government keeps on putting some allegation, but then they always try to fight back by using their legal resources. So I think within a span of 1 or 2 days, it will forget about this. Anyway, since Adani was more of an leverage, Adani was more of a street favorite. So hence we have seen a knee-jerk reaction today. I feel that the stock should stabilize in a day or two. And if I have to choose which are the best Adani stock in terms of cash flow from a cash flow perspective, I think the top 2-3 companies which are ACC, Ambuja, and Adani Port. These are the 3 names where we find a lot of comfort, and at the same time there is a presence of institutions also over there. So it's a good time to let us first stabilize or let all the 3 stocks first stabilize, and then can be added in the portfolio from a long term perspective. Again, I will repeat the 3 names which we like are Adani Port, Ambuja, and ACC.
Yeah, so Mr. DK Arya is asking about Maha Bank and South Bank. Sunny, if you could just share the fundamental view, then I'll just share the short-term perspective in case he requires it. Sunny, if you could just share the view on Maha Bank and South Bank.
Yeah, so coming to Maharashtra Bank, Bank of Maharashtra, I feel that let me check the current market price. So I think if somebody want to invest in Bank of Maharashtra, I think the fair, I mean the price close to 50 rupees, 45 to 50 rupees band is a good price to accumulate the stock with a price target of 60, 65. Within PSU Bank compared to Maharashtra Bank, Bank of Baroda and Canara banks are at the same time. Indian Bank is looking far cheaper in terms of valuation. So these are the few names which we like within the PSU basket, PSU banking space. And today again, the entire PSU banking basket was under pressure, and the reason being that with Adani stock was under selling pressure, so all the banks which has got an exposure to the Adani Group were also under pressure. I think again, it has nothing to do with the long-term sustainability of the business. So it's a good opportunity for somebody who is a medium to long-term investor. And coming to South Indian Bank, again, this bank continue to look so good in terms of growth outlook. But what I would suggest is that instead of going for a smaller regional bank like South Indian Bank, other banks like ICICI Bank and Federal Bank, which has reported a very good set of number, clearly outperformance which is seen in these two names. So I would suggest rather than going for South Indian Bank, better to deploy your fresh capital within the banking space in ICICI Bank and Federal Bank. Yeah, Sudeep, you want to add something on both the names?
Yeah. So if you see both the stocks, South Indian Bank and Bank of Maharashtra on charts, I feel the better one here is Bank of Maharashtra. Because if you see the stock has not corrected that much like South Indian Bank. So out of this two bank, the extent of correction is lower in Bank of Maharashtra, and right now the stock is still holding well above its key support zone of 47, 48. So till the time the stock is above 47, 48, I feel there could be some consolidation here at current levels between 59, 49 and 53, 54. But above 54, the stock could head up to 60, 63 levels in the coming few months. So 54 has to be there as a trigger point for you to go long. Right now, it could still consolidate between 49 and 54. Gaurav Ingole ji is asking, sir, is it a good time to buy IREDA and IRFC? Sunny, if you would just share regarding the PSU stocks.
Yeah, coming to IREDA, IREDA, what I would suggest is that one should avoid IREDA at a current juncture. Because again, despite of the correction in the stock price, the valuation continue to look very expensive. So close to 50,000 crore market cap, trading at price to book of more than kind of 7-8 times. I think very expensive stock if I look at a valuation. In fact, compared to IREDA, I feel PFC and REC are a better play if you want to ride on a renewable energy financing business. So PFC and REC looks better as far as the renewable energy sector financing is concerned. Coming to IRFC, again trading close to 1.9 lakh crore market cap, which is at trading at price to book of more than 4 times. Again, a very expensive stock in the current weak set of environment. So I would like to avoid deploying fresh capital in both the names, and better to stick to other PSU financing companies like PFC, REC, and as well as banks which we have discussed earlier, like ICICI and Federal. Yeah, moving on to the next stock, which is the Tata Steel. This question is from through Q Analytics. Yeah. So again, one has to keep in mind that the entire steel sector is under pressure because time and again all the steel companies are complaining that China is a dumping stock at a no profit no loss basis, or in fact in losses globally, and that has led to the weak steel price realization in the India. And if you see, all the majority of the steel companies have reported a weak set of number, and that is one of the key reason China is the key culprit. So till the time demand doesn't recover in other parts of the world, China will continue to dump steel in India. But because of this negative sentiment, we have already seen a decent correction in all the steel companies. So Tata Steel has also corrected from peak of close to 180, 185 to now close to 140 rupees. And I believe ultimately, if somebody is a long-term investor, he can gradually accumulate Tata Steel through SIP route. But if you ask my view on other metal companies, at a current juncture, aluminum-based companies look far better compared to steel companies. So companies like Nalco and Hindalco are much better placed, and the reason for the same is that aluminum prices globally are trading close to life high. So if you check aluminum prices, it's close to $2,600 per ton, and that is very close to life high. So I think aluminum sector looks much better compared to the steel. And within steel or other play, I think Sham Metallic is the one company which we like. And MOIL, as we have discussed earlier, although we have seen a very steep correction in the MOIL. So manganese-based players such as MOIL and Sandur Manganese also look good. But again, a disclaimer, one has to keep in mind that metal as a sector is a very volatile sector. Again, when I say that buy this stock, kindly follow a gradual accumulation method rather than deploying entire capital at one go. If you are a low risk investor, you don't like significant volatility, then metal is not a sector for you. Better to stay away from a metal sector and all the stocks which we have discussed till now. The next question is from Gaurav Ingole. Hi, Gauravji. Is it a good time to buy Adani stock and railway stock? So, Gauravji, we have already discussed this, that within Adani Pack, we like ACC, Ambuja, and Adani Port, which are relatively stable businesses. And coming to railway stock, again, we have already seen a very good correction in the entire railway pack. But if I have to pick some stock within the railway sector, I would like to go ahead with companies which are focusing on railway wagons. So companies like Titagarh Rail, Texmaco, Jupiter Wagons look far better at a current juncture. And at the same time, BEML is the one company which I like, which is again a play on basically supply of metro coaches, as well as they have got a smaller exposure on the defense side. So these are the few names which we like. But again, since all these sectors are dependent on government spending, and of late we have been hearing that there is a slowdown in government spending. So a quarter or two, a delay of quarter or two is very normal in any government-driven sector. You can gradually accumulate all the names which we have discussed till now. The next question is from Mittal Soniji. What is the future of Mazgaon Dock share? Again, Soniji, we continue to remain bullish on entire shipping as a sector, and Mazgaon Dock is the one of the company which has reported a decent set of number. If you see, even during this quarter, the company has reported close to 600 crore profit, and on an annualized basis, company continue to report 2,000 to 2,500 crore profit, and stock is trading close to 31 time price to earning multiple. I think again within shipping pack, Mazgaon Dock continue to remain our favorite pick. What I feel is that maybe for next few month or few week, we may see a time-wise correction, and once there is a base formation, then and at the same time, in case there are further order wins for Mazgaon Dock from Indian government or from an export perspective, then we may see some upmove in Mazgaon Dock. So what I would suggest is that thus all the PSU stocks are right now going through a correction phase. So it's a good time to accumulate only select PSU rather than सभी PSU की जगह कुछ certain PSU लेने की राय रहेगी. बट अगेन थोड़ा सा इन्वेस्टमेंट हॉराइजन आपको यहाँ लंबा रखना होगा, 3 से 6 महीने का पेशेंस रखोगे तो कुछ सिलेक्ट पीएसयू में अच्छा पैसा यहाँ से बनने की उम्मीद है.
The
The next
next, yeah. Yes, Sunny, please go on.
The next question is from Akul Rana ji. What are the advice to long-term retail investor in the market? So again, a very good question, Rana ji, Akul ji. I think, see, what I feel is that the growth story of India is still intact, and this is a temporary correction phase, which is a part and parcel of the market. So we have already seen a very superb return delivered by market between FY20 and till September of this calendar year. And now we are seeing a first correction of more than 5%, 10% during the last 2 months. So I think in a correction of 10 to 15% in any bull market is a part and parcel of that. Again, I feel this correction is a part of the larger bull market, and still there is a time where we may see a new highs, maybe not immediately, but over the period of next 12 to 18 months, we may again see market climbing new highs. So don't worry. I feel the markets are in a good shape from a long term perspective. One need to have a patience to make money in this market. But again, one has to temper down their own return expectation, right? अब तक का जो पैसा बना है उसे संभाल के रखिए rather than splurging on any stock, taking any leverage bet. Better to save your money, gradually deploy additional cash in the market with an expectation that आपको जो एवरेज रिटर्न है अगले 12 महीने में 12 से 15% का मिलेगा. थोड़ा सा एक साल थोड़ा सा कम रिटर्न मिलेगा तो चलेगा, बट अल्टीमेटली वी हैव टू सेव अवर प्रिंसिपल अमाउंट so that whenever there is a next bull run, we all can participate and create wealth for ourselves and our family. तो काइंडली स्टे रिमेन इन्वेस्टेड, एंड इफ यू गॉट अ फ्रेश कैपिटल टू डिप्लॉय, ग्रेजुअली डिप्लॉय कीजिए, कोई हड़बड़ी ना कीजिए. Gradually over the period of next 2-3 months, I feel that market may continue to remain volatile till 1st of Feb, and the reason is that as we are seeing that the outgoing government in the US are taking many hostile steps to destabilize the entire global economy, and Trump will assume office in the month of Jan, and followed by we will have a union budget on the 1st of Feb. So I feel markets may continue to remain volatile for next 2 to 3 months, and hence there will be an opportunity which will come during the next 2 to 3 months, and gradually it is advisable to deploy your capital gradually between December, January, and Feb. राजकमल जायसवाल जी का सवाल है, सर एसबीआई बाय करे क्या? राजकमल जी, मैं माफ़ी चाहूँगा, एसबीआई के ऊपर हम कोई व्यू नहीं दे सकते हैं, और इसके पीछे कारण ये है कि जो हमारी कंप्लायंस टीम है हमें रिस्ट्रिक्ट करती हैं टू शेयर व्यू ऑन एसबीआई और एनी एसबीआई ग्रुप कंपनी. सो आई एम सॉरी, आई वोंट एबल टू आंसर योर क्वेश्चन ऑन एसबीआई एज अ बैंक. व्हाट शुड यू डू ऑन एसबीआई? The next question is, basically there are two questions on NTPC Green IPO. So let me clarify my stand on NTPC Green. We have already released a detailed IPO note on NTPC Green, and that is available on SBI Securities website as well as on Telegram channel. So coming to my view on NTPC Green, what I feel is that company is one of the largest renewable energy company, but the valuation at which the IPO price is pretty costly. So I don't see any listing gain on NTPC Green, not any significant listing gain. Maybe 4-5% kind of gain may be seen as far as NTPC Green is concerned. But if you are a long-term investor, when I say long-term investor, at least you should have a vision of 3 to 5 years. Then an average return of 15 to 16% one can expect from NTPC Green. And it may happen that over the next few months, the company may trade in a range-bound fashion. And once the new projects are commissioned and we start seeing a ramp up in the revenue and profitability, at that time the market will start ascribing higher valuation to NTPC Green. So I feel maybe NTPC Green is for somebody who is looking for a long-term investment bet, want to add a stable company in the portfolio, and somebody who is looking for a quick listing gain. I think the listing gain won't be very significant in NTPC Green. तो अगर आप एनटीपीसी ग्रीन में लिस्टिंग गेन के लिए एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं तो मुझे नहीं लगता है कि कोई बहुत बड़ा लिस्टिंग गेन हमें एनटीपीसी ग्रीन में देखने मिलेगा. I think we have already discussed on Adani. Let us move to the next question. What is the view of PSU defense sector like BEL and EIL? या तो बेसिकली सुष्मिता जी का ये सवाल है कि डिफेंस सेक्टर में कंपनीज लाइक बीईएल और ईआईएल पर क्या व्यू है. पहले तो मैं क्लैरिटी दे दूं कि ईआईएल इज नॉट अ पार्ट ऑफ डिफेंस. इंजीनियर्स इंडिया लिमिटेड प्रीडोमिनेटली केटर्स टू ऑयल एंड गैस सेक्टर. अगेन मेरा जो व्यू है इंजीनियर्स इंडिया को लेकर पॉजिटिव है. वन ऑफ द बेस्ट ऑर्डर बुक है कंपनी की और एक बेहतर ग्रोथ आउटलुक है. इनडायरेक्टली प्रॉफिट प्ले है ऑयल एंड गैस सेक्टर को लेकर के. तो मैं आपसे रिकमेंड करूंगा कि इंजीनियर्स इंडिया में बने रहें. हालांकि शॉर्ट टर्म में स्टॉक प्रेशर में है और वो तो अक्रॉस द मार्केट हम देख ही रहे हैं. सेलिंग प्रेशर के चलते सभी अच्छी कंपनीज में भी बिकवाली हुई आई है. और रही डिफेंस सेक्टर की बात पीएसयू में, तो आई थिंक बीएल इज अगेन अ डिसेंट कंपनी टू बी इन. एट द सेम टाइम एचएएल आल्सो लुक्स गुड, मस्गार्ड लुक्स गुड. So I think these are the few PSU defense names which we like from a long-term perspective. मित्तल सोनी जी का सवाल है, व्हाट इज द फ्यूचर ऑफ मस्गार्ड डॉक. सो सोनी जी, आई थिंक as we have discussed earlier that Mazgaon Dock is relatively reporting a better set of number, and I think right now post correction now the stock is also trading at a reasonable valuation, 30 time price to earning multiple, and in case the company is able to win further orders and is able to continue to execute the existing order, we may continue to see an up move in the Mazgaon Dock. But if you have got a vision of 3 to 6 months, I think the stock may consolidate at a current market price for next 3 to 6 months. And once the street starts to discount FY27 number, then at that point of time Mazgaon Dock में कुछ movement देखने मिल सकता है. The next question is from Rohan. What is the Nifty support and resistance? Yeah, over to you, Sudeep.
Yeah, Rohan. So, Rohan, at the beginning of the discussion only, we discussed that yes, if it is from extreme short-term perspective, then the immediate support would be around 23,200, 23,250 kind of levels. But if it's from a medium-term perspective, then 22,950 or 23,100, that 150 point zone will now remain an important support zone, because this zone is the 61.8% retracement of this entire up move, right from the June election day low from 21,280 till the highs of 26,300. So if you have that retracement ready, then the 61.8% of that entire move would be closer to 23,150. And given the kind of volatility we are in, 1% price band here and there, we need to give that leeway to the market levels. So 23,000, 22,950 zone, we feel could act as an important support from the current levels. And yes, on the way up now, 23,700 will be the first resistance that markets need to surpass, because last few days we have seen every rises closer to that zone of 23,600, 23,700. There has been some kind of selling pressure, and Nifty has shown inability to cross and sustain about those levels. So 23,700, 23,700 के ऊपर निफ्टी को सस्टेन करना होगा, एंड जैसे ही उसके ऊपर सस्टेन करेगा देन एक बड़ा शॉर्ट कवरिंग मूव आ सकता है. तो 23,700 का एक लेवल आप अपने नजर के सामने रखिए. The next question is from Namita about Afcon share. It's a recently listed company, and yes, in a way, if you see the charts, it has outperformed. So आप देखिए 465, 475 का जो प्राइस बैंड है वो ये स्टॉक ने अभी तक तोड़ा नहीं है डिसाइसिवली. And while the markets are down, say around 700, 800 points on Nifty, and mid caps are down 15-20% in the last many sessions, last few sessions, this stock has seen a reversal move. It's seen strength. So I feel although given the data set that is limited, 465, 460 levels will be an important support zone, and the stock is headed higher, closer to 525, 40 levels. Ashok Sharma ji is asking BF utility in Quest Corp, what to do. Ashok ji, BF utility, if you see the charts, then what we feel is in BF utility, the stock has met with some kind of a pressure around 1050, 1100 levels for sure. But in the last 12 months, if you see the swing highs and swing lows, the bottoms are rising. So steadily, initially 600, then in September 2024, it was around 800. Then again in October, it became 820. The swing bottoms have risen. And what we feel is till the time 875, 880 zone on this stock holds, at least the charts seems to give us an indication that the stock is once again headed up to the recent swing highs closer to 1050, 1100 levels. So even if you have the stock in your portfolio or trading folio, then 870 will act as a support on the downside. The another stock which you have asked is Quest Corp. So Quest Corp, if you see the charts from a positional perspective, the stock has had intermediate as well as major top formation. December 2021, the highs were closer to 900, 930 zone. Once again, in September 2024, the highs were closer to 870, 880. So what has happened is that kind of it has formed a double top and it's a 3-year time period, so kind of it becomes significant also. Now on the downside, if the stock breaches 610 levels, 615 levels, then the fall could accelerate up to 560, 570. So 610, 615 on Quest Corp now becomes important support zone. Once it breaks, then the downside could be quite substantial. Another 10-15% could easily be washed out in this stock. Why FIIs are in selling mode? Why their maximum holding in company like HDFC Bank not falling much? See what's happening with this kind of markets are that there are phases for every stock. Now, while Reliance pre-bonus, it was moving from 2700, 2500 to 3200, and the markets were moving up. It was the HDFC Bank which was continuously on the downside, and there was selling pressure there. And the stock did not show any signs of moving beyond 1550, 1570 levels. It always used to trade in that band closer to that range. And it's kind of an outperformance by Reliance at that time. And now, while HDFC Bank is on the way up, you're seeing selling pressure in Reliance and a few other stocks like Asian Paints, where there is a significant FII holding. So wherever the results have come weak, it has been relentless selling pressure there, and specifically in the top few Nifty 50 companies, which includes Reliance also. So the numbers of the FIIs on the sell side could have a decent amount of Reliance included in that, and HDFC Bank we are not seeing any major selling pressure there. And in fact, in my opening address also I mentioned that Bank Nifty is kind of outperforming Nifty, although it has fallen 8%, Nifty has fallen 11%. So relatively it has still been better, and the main reason for that, इसका सबसे important reason है HDFC Bank. Global Indian is asking what to do with Dr. Reddy shares. I have entered at 1338. So yes, Dr. Reddy in the last I guess 15-20 days it has broken down that important support zone at 1300, and then we have seen this selling pressure. But in the last 2 or 3 sessions, we are seeing some kind of this zone of 1160, 1170 acting as an important support zone. So what I feel is that while the short-term chips are down in this stock, if you see the weekly chart and the monthly chart, the charts are still stronger. So in a big uptrend, this might be a minor downtrend or a one odd profit booking wave. But on the downside, I feel 1160, 1170 zone will act as an important support for Dr. Reddy, and just hold on with that stop loss for the time being. Tarun Datta ji is asking what would be the next support on Nifty. Tarun ji, we just discussed, अभी हमने discuss किया 23,000, 22,900, ये एक important support zone हो सकता है. Sunny, there is a question by Mr. Arun Kumar. Which sector should I focus for the next 3 months?
Yeah, again, a very good question, Arunji. Thanks for asking this question. I think one of the sector which we like for next 2-3 months is the hotel and tourism sector. So we all know that December quarter is one of the best quarter for entire hotel industry. And this year the number of auspicious wedding days are more by 25 to 30% as compared to the last year. So that will lead to a very upbeat earnings from all the hotel companies. So hotel is the one sector to be in as far as the next 2 to 3 months is concerned. One contra bet I would like to take on cement sector. So cement, we have already seen they have been bitten black and blue during the last 6 months due to the weak set of earnings. So one contra bet I would like to take on cement as a sector, where usually the second half is pretty strong for the cement sector. So select companies from cement sector can continue to do well over the period of next 2 to 3 months. Then one sector which we like again, as Sudeep has also discussed, selective companies from auto sector which are rural focused. So companies like Mahindra and Mahindra, or for that matter Escort, Hero Motocorp, or for that matter a few auto and companies like RK Forging, SGS Enterprises, Gabriel, Castrol India, Happy Forging, ASK Auto. So these are the few names which we like from an auto space. Again, EMS as a sector continue to looks good. So all the companies which are focusing on manufacturing of consumer durable goods, so whether it is companies like Amber, Sirma, again a very good recovery we have seen during the this quarter earning. KRN heat exchanger, dynamic cable. So these are the few names which we like within the EMS space. So yeah, these are the 2-3 sectors which we like, and then few names within the real estate space. Natarajanji, we have already discussed NTPC Green IPO. Nothing much left on table as far as listing gains are concerned. I think listing gains will be muted. If you are a long-term investor, then you can consider NTPC Green as a part of your portfolio. So there is a suggestion from Anant Ji. Please provide equity capital with their financial report. I'm sorry, Anandji, I couldn't understand your question. Please provide equity capital with their financial report. Can you please retype your question in a better fashion in the chat box? I will be more than happy to reply to your question. The next question is on please give some explanation about RRP Semiconductor Limited stock. So Sudeep, meanwhile, why don't you look at some other questions? Let me check the what is the story behind RRP in my database.
Yeah. Yeah, the next question is from Magical Brushes. Opinion on Vodafone Idea. See, now it's kind of a penny stock, 7-8 rupees, and we've seen significant selling pressure there in that stock. It's a high risk kind of a bet, and it's nothing more than a bet now. Till the time you don't see any reversal, you don't. I don't feel that we should be putting our money there. There are better stocks available, say Bharti Airtel, Tata Communication, Indus Towers. So I feel all these are very stable businesses. Fundamentally also, and Sunny would add up on once he shares his outlook. But technically, I feel Bharti Airtel, Indus Towers, or Tata Communication, for that matter, looks really in a nice shape, in a better from a strength perspective, and I feel Vodafone Idea should be avoided. Rohan is asking with Nifty resistance and support role. We've already discussed that earlier now, twice or thrice. Jitendra Singh Rawat is asking view on Tata Elxsi and Tata Tech. So Jitendra ji, Tata Elxsi, if you see Tata Elxsi, there has been a breakdown in the last 2 to 3 weeks, right from say 9,000 levels, 8,500, 9,000 levels up to 6,400, and now the stock is approaching an important support zone. So next 5-6% of the stock will be a very important trend decider levels. Now 5,800, 5,950 zone will act as an important support zone, because in the entire rally there had been lot of times that the stock had reversed from say 59-56,000 levels, and right now it is in negative territory. But on the downside, 5,900-6,000 zone will be a key support zone, and for the stock to reverse and give us a confirmation that yes, the bottom formation is happening, then the first level resistance level on the upside would be 6750, 6800 levels. The another stock that he has asked is Tata Tech. So 1 minute. Tata Tech, yeah. So Tata Tech, it's in a continuous downtrend now, right? Post its listing, we've never seen the stock given that kind of a return or any kind of momentum in that stock. And once again, now the stock has breached its previous swing lows closer to 960, 970 levels, and now it's kind of headed lower, closer to 870, 860 levels in the coming few weeks. So on rises, I feel Tata Tech should be reduced, and we feel that at least till the time the stock does not cross 1000 or 1020 levels on the upside, you won't see any sustained upside for the next few say weeks to months. So 1000 zone on the upside will act as an important resistance. The next question would be on IndusInd Bank. Earlier also we discussed that we should not be adding IndusInd Bank because it's kind of an underperformer, ranked underperformer. The results were bad, and the stock has now given a big breakdown on the charts. So what we feel is from the current level also there could be, because of the oversold nature, there could be slight bounce back. But 1020, 1030 is the max resistance that we are expecting here in this stock. Until the time that does not cross, डाउनसाइड 910 880 तक भी ये स्टॉक दिखा सकता है. तो मुझे लग रहा है बैंकिंग में यदि अगर बैंकिंग यहाँ से घूमता भी है, एक अच्छा मूव रिबाउंड यहाँ पे देखने मिलता है, तो भी मुझे लग रहा है इंडसइंड बैंक में एक थोड़ा अंडर परफॉर्मेंस रह सकता है. तो थोड़ा वेट एंड वॉच करिए यहाँ पे, ये स्टॉक में इतनी जल्दबाजी ना करें ऐड करने का. बहुत सारे अच्छे ऑप्शंस है. सनी ने अभी अभी शेयर किया कि HDFC बैंक है, ICICI बैंक है, फेडरल बैंक जहाँ पे नंबर्स अच्छे आए. So I guess you should go with Sunny's word on the banking space. These 2-3 stocks, they look really good. Avoid IndusInd Bank for the time being. Sunny, if you would like to take this next question, where the long-term view on BEL is asked. Nirmal ji is asking for a long-term view on BEL.
Yeah, so Nirmal ji, again, we continue to remain bullish on BEL. I feel the fair value of the company is close to 330, 350 rupees. And although the stock is in downtrend, what I would suggest you is that gradually accumulate in the range of 250 to 275 with an investment horizon of at least 12 months and price target of 330 to 350 rupees. The next question is from Ramani ji. Is there steam still left in BSC Limited? So BSC, yes, you are right, Ramani ji. We have seen a very good rally as far as the BSC is concerned, and that was backed by the very strong set of numbers which BSC has been reporting since last 4 to 5 quarter. Now one has to keep in mind that with an changing regulation on F&O side, to some extent, business of BSC and NSC will be impacted. However, looking at the number of overall construct, I think BSC will be slightly beneficiary as far as F&O change in regulation is concerned. But let's see how the volume changes. What is the impact on entire F&O segment in terms of volume, because that was one of the key growth driver for BSC. So long term, I continue to remain bullish on BSC being a capital market story, and the way the volumes have been increasing in the F&O as well as cash market. Short term, there may be some uncertainty because the street will keenly track the impact of volume as from today onwards we are seeing a gradual change in F&O regulation. So today we have seen an increase in margin for an expiry day. From Jan, we will see an increase in contract value. At the same time, we will see introduction of new F&O futures in the contract. So many regulations will play out as far as changes in F&O on F&O side is concerned. So continue to remain bullish on BSE, but short term, yes, there can be volatility. So better to wait and watch and gradually accumulate BSE in case you want to deploy a fresh capital in BSE. But already the cream has been sucked out. So we have already seen rally from close to 2200, 2300 to 4600. And the next big trigger can be an IPO of NSE. So in case NSE lists at a very good price to earning multiple or valuation multiple, then we may see some re-rating in BSE also. Yeah, so we have already discussed view on BL from long-term. Pradeep ji stay remain invested and with a price target of 330 to 350. The next question is on Bajaj Housing. I think again a very good company, but again trading at an expensive valuation. So although we have seen a decent correction in Bajaj Housing also, so I feel in case you are able to catch this stock close to 100, 110 rupees, I think the risk reward will be favorable at that price point. So better to wait for further correction, or you can follow a gradual pyramiding strategy wherein you can start accumulating stock in a small quantity and keep on accumulating till the levels of 100 or 110 are seen on Bajaj Housing Finance. The next question is on Tata Motors by CK. Again, Tata Motors, again, a very good business going through a temporary pain, and that's the reason we are seeing a correction in the Tata Motors stock price. So, yes, in case you are a long term investor, you can gradually accumulate Tata Motors, but for a short term, it looks like companies like Mahindra and Mahindra will be a clear outperformer. But yes, definitely, we have always seen that Tata Motors tend to bounce back post their weaker performance. Again, this quarter, the performance was weaker on account of non-supply of aluminum part by Novelis due to flooding in the US, and that led to the lesser volume on JLR front. So it's a good opportunity. Again, I believe the fair value of the company is close to 1,000 rupees. So keeping that stock price in mind, one can look at Tata Motors from a long-term perspective. But one has to keep in mind again that Tata Motors is a global play, not a domestic play. So any policy changes by Mr. Trump in the month of Jan can also have a bearing on Tata Motors. So keep that also in mind. That it's a global company and not a pure play domestic play, company as far as the automobile industry is concerned. Yeah, coming to NBCC, better to continue or sold. So, Sudeep, if you can help us with a technical view on NBCC. Fundamentally, the company looked good. I think they are executing many good projects and they are sitting on a very robust order book. And at the same time, we have seen a good recovery as far as margins are concerned. So, what I would suggest that since you want to, since you are already holding the stock, I think stop loss is something which Sudeep can recommend based on technical factors.
Yeah, Sunny. So I feel NBCC is now almost completing its correction, another 4-5%, and I feel the stock could start consolidating before the next move on the way up. So if you see, even in say 2017, the stock had hit a high of around 85-90 levels, and post that move in September, August 2024, around 131. Now this now there was a bonus here 1:2, so it's these rates are bonus adjusted rates. So 136 was the high, and post that now it's coming back to this 85-90 levels where 6-7 years back this was the top. So price perspective, price points, this is an important price action area where the stock had a major top formation earlier 6 years back, and we feel that now, so post 6-7 years after that big rally up to 140, 135, 140, this zone could mark a short term bottom formation area also. So 85-90 zone, I feel it's going to be a very crucial, a very trend decider level. So if you're holding it, hold it with a stop loss of 82, just slightly lower than the support zone, so that if even if there is any whipsaw, then you are kind of better off than the people who are just keeping the support zone as a stop loss. The next question is on IRCTC. So yes, now once again we've seen a lot of selling pressure in the PSU space, and IRCTC. The important thing here for this stock, it's that there is a rising trend line which we have drawn since last 4.5 years, right from 2020 COVID lows. It even takes care of the September 2023 zone where the March and September 2023 zone where the stock retested lows of 550, then 680. So the stock is back at the trend line support zone now, which is closer to 770 zone. So yes, charts look weak, but if you are to take a pragmatic view here, तो मुझे लग रहा है यहाँ पे वो एक रिस्क रिवॉर्ड का जो जोन होता है ना, जहाँ पे कि ये मेक और ब्रेक एरिया है, तो मुझे लग रहा है ये 770 जोन 760 जोन एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट सपोर्ट जोन बन जाएगा। और यहाँ पे शॉर्ट तो ना करे या फिर मतलब एग्जिट करके पैनिक में बेच दे, ये वाला काम नहीं होना चाहिए। बट ये एक सपोर्ट अगर 760 होल्ड कर देता है और अगर 820 को क्रॉस कर देता है ये स्टॉक, तो एक शॉर्ट टर्म प्ले 885 और 900 के लेवल्स के लिए हो सकता है। बिकॉज इतने ओवरसोल्ड मार्केट्स में अगर पीएसयू स्टॉक्स में पुल बैक आएगा तो वन ऑफ द मोनोपोली स्टॉक बीइंग आईआरसीटीसी, तो मुझे लग रहा है वो थोड़ा रेकनिंग में आ सकता है। तो बेचना तो नहीं है यहाँ पे, एग्जिट नहीं करना है पैनिक करके, बट 760 770 के सपोर्ट जोन से आप इसे होल्ड कर सकते हैं। Sunny, there's a question on Tata Motors performing well in the next quarter. I guess since it's from a medium to long term perspective.
Yes, I think CKG, we have already discussed that September quarter was one off due to lack of supply of aluminium from Novelis, and that has impacted some volume growth for JLR. So on a relative basis, quarter 3 should be better than quarter 2 for JLR. And they have retained their growth target. At the same time, they have retained their free cash flow guidance as well as the debt-free status for Tata Motors. So again, I am expecting that 3Q can be a better quarter for Tata Motors on a relative basis. The next question is from Parvez Iqbalji. When share market will be stable? Again, Parvezi, we all wish that the market should stabilize as soon as possible. But looking at the way the selling pressure is going on from foreign institutional investor, we are seeing a lot of volatility. And at the same time, there are many news flow which is the driving market crazy. At one point of time, कभी रशिया यूक्रेन से न्यूज आ जाता है, कभी चाइना, sometimes US. And there are a lot of policy steps which are being taken by US in terms of geopolitical tension and all those steps. So I think again volatility is something which we need to take care of over the period of next few weeks. I hope that the selling from FII reduces significantly from there from here on, and that will at least provide some stability to the equity markets. So let us hope that things will stabilize at least in the month of December. So post monthly expiry of November series, I am expecting that the things should stabilize in the month of December from an equity market perspective. Again, a question from CKG. So there are multiple questions from Mr. CK, Indusin, Dr. Reddy, Natco Pharma, IDFC First Bank. I think I would like to address all the question at one go. So I think Indusin Bank and IDFC First Bank, we have already seen that during the quarter 2, there was one-off which led to the sell-off in the Indusin Bank and IDFC First Bank. In case you are a long-term investor, I would recommend you to gradually accumulate both the stock. But within Indusin and IDFC First, I am relatively more bullish on IDFC First Bank. But again, if I have to handpick some other bank within the banking sector, at a current juncture, it clearly looks like ICICI Bank, Federal Bank, Axis may be a clear performer. So Indusin and IDFC First Bank is going through some pain, and it may take some time before meaningful recovery in the stock prices of Indusin Bank and IDFC First Bank is concerned. And if I have to choose within Dr. Reddy and Natco Pharma, I would like to go ahead with the Natco Pharma, trading at a cheaper valuation at a current juncture. The next question is from Rahul Nikamji. Please review MapMy India Tata Technology. So Tata Technology, Sudeep has already discussed earlier. So again, a very good company from a Tata Group, but again trading at an slightly expensive valuation. And we have already seen that similar to KPIT Tech, that slowdown in spending from European clients on the automobile side is leading to is giving a pain in short term for companies like KPIT and Tata Technology. So again, I would like to remain neutral at a current juncture. I don't expect any meaningful recovery in Tata Technology at a current juncture. Coming to MapMyIndia, again, that's a very good business, kind of monopolistic business from MapMyIndia. And I think this is a good opportunity to add the stock in a long-term portfolio. Next question is on KPI Green. Yes, we continue to remain bullish on KPI Green. And you can refer to our report, which is available on SBI Securities website, as well as on mobile app, as well as in Telegram channel. So stay remain invested. I feel the fair value is close to 900, 950 bucks. So KPI Green is the one of the fastest growing company as far as solar EPC as well as IPP is concerned. The next question is from Rupesh G. I have bought JK Paper, Indus Tower, BEL, and CDSL are down 25% from buying price. Please suggest me hold or sell. So Sudeep, if you can suggest a hold or sell in all this name. Fundamentally, what I feel is that amongst all the name, JK Paper is a relatively weaker name on fundamental side. Otherwise, Indus Tower, BEL, Reliance and CDSL looks good from a long-term perspective. However, since you want a recommendation whether you should hold or sell from a short-term perspective, Sudeep will assist on the stop losses level.
Yeah. So, Rupesh, JK Paper, as Sunny is mentioning, fundamentally also is on a weaker side, and technically too, the charts are not supportive. Stock has broken down its swing lows at 424.25, जो पिछले 2-3 महीने से 4 महीने से इनफैक्ट होल्ड कर रहा था, और अब मुझे लग रहा है यहाँ पे रुपेश जी जब तक ये 420 422 का लेवल क्रॉस नहीं करता है, तब यहाँ पे चांस है ये 370 से लेके 350 का जो एक प्राइस बैंड है, एक सपोर्ट जोन, उसको रिटेस्ट कर सकते हैं। और ये पूरी रैली जो पिछली जो 3-4 महीने की थी, वो पूरी रैली खत्म हो सकती है जेके पेपर में। इंडस टावर में अगर हम देखें तो इंडस टावर में थोड़ा बेटर एक सेटअप है, क्योंकि जो हिसाब से स्टॉक में, ऑल्दो ये भी एक डाउन ट्रेंडिंग स्टॉक है, 200 दिन के मूविंग एवरेज के नीचे, पर ये स्टॉक अपना जो जून जुलाई का जो एक स्विंग लो था ना 309 रुपए का, जो स्टॉक ने एक पैनिक में बनाया था एक ही दिन, मेरे हिसाब से 5 जून को रिजल्ट्स के बाद, उसके बाद स्टॉक फिर से 460 तक रैली किया था। अब वही लेवल के आसपास स्टॉक रीटेस्ट करने की कोशिश कर रहा है, तो मे बी अनदर फ्यू डेज ऑफ डाउन मूव फ्रॉम द करंट लेवल्स, बट 310 से लेके 314 का अब ये जो सपोर्ट जोन है, ये एक इम्पॉर्टेंट सपोर्ट जोन है। और ये स्टॉक एक क्वालिटी स्टॉक है, तो एक हर एक स्टॉक के साइकिल में जैसे करेक्टिव मूव आता है बड़े रैली के बाद, तो ये स्टॉक है जो वही करेक्टिव मूव अभी आ रहा है ये स्टॉक में। एंड अगर ये कंप्लीट, अगर हम लॉन्ग टर्म पिछले 1-1.5 साल की रैली भी पकड़ ले, तो स्टॉक का जो 50% का रिट्रेसमेंट है वो भी 310-305 के बीच में आ रहा है। तो मुझे लग रहा है अब इंपॉर्टेंट सपोर्ट जोन के आसपास आ रहा है, यहाँ से पैनिक करके उसे बेचने का मुझे अब वो उसमें सेंस नहीं लग रहा है। मुझे लग रहा है थोड़ा होल्ड कर लीजिए, इतना पेशेंस आपका टेस्ट किया है, कुछ और दिन पेशेंस रखिए, बिकॉज यहाँ पे अगर आप इम्पेशेंट अगर आपने बेच दिया तो आप ऑलमोस्ट एक बॉटम से कुछ परसेंटेज ऊपर पॉइंट्स आप बेच रहे हो, तो जस्ट थोड़ा होल्ड करिए। बीएल एक अच्छा स्टॉक है, मुझे लग रहा है कि जो हिसाब से HAL BEL यहाँ पे मोमेंटम आया हुआ था, उसमें BEL में गिरावट कम देखी गई है। ऑल्दो लास्ट 3 दिन से 300 से लेकर स्टॉक 275 आ चुका है इन लास्ट 3 या 6-7 ट्रेडिंग सेशन से, पर अभी भी स्टॉक अपना जो 200 दिन का मूविंग एवरेज है 262, ये उसके ऊपर काफी कंफर्टेबली सस्टेन कर रहा है। तो मुझे लग रहा है थोड़ा वॉलेटाइल रहेगा, पर आउट ऑफ द डिफेंस पैक, जैसे सनी ने पहले भी बताया कि अगर आपको बेट करना है तो BEL इज वन ऑफ द वेरी गुड क्वालिटी नेम, तो थोड़ा यहाँ पे होल्ड करिए। तो अभी तक जितना हमने डिस्कस किया, जेके पेपर, इंडस टावर, BEL, उसमें इंडस टावर BEL बेटर लग रहा है, रिलायंस वीक लग रहा है। अगर पूरे ये सेशन के स्टार्टिंग में भी मैंने आपको यही कहा था ना कि अगर एक स्टॉक जो पूरी मार्केट को तकलीफ दे रहा है इन टर्म्स ऑफ मोमेंटम, इन टर्म्स ऑफ प्राइस पैटर्न्स, तो वो रिलायंस है, बिकॉज ये रिलायंस में हमने देखा है कि जो हिसाब से पिछले 3 सप्ताह में जो सेलिंग प्रेशर आया है 1350 के टूटते ही, जो कि एक जून मंथ का जो स्विंग लो था 1354 का, जैसे ही वो लेवल टूटा तो देयर इज नो लुकिंग बैक। अब कोई भी लेवल से एक दिन भी रिलायंस ने पॉजिटिव क्लोजिंग नहीं दिया है। तो मुझे लग रहा है अब यहाँ पे जो सपोर्ट है 1190 1200 है, ओवरसोल्ड जोन में आ चुका है। मैटर ऑफ टाइम बिफोर एक हल्का सा पुल बैक आया, बिकॉज लो ओवरसोल्ड जोन से एक पुल बैक तो जरूर आएगा, बट आप ये नहीं बोल सकते कि ये कल आएगा या परसों आएगा, बिकॉज ओवरसोल्ड जोन में भी काफी टाइम स्टॉक्स सस्टेन करते हैं लोअर ट्रेजेक्टरी में। तो मुझे लग रहा है 1190 से लेकर 1200 का जो जोन है वो इंपॉर्टेंट सपोर्ट जोन है, क्योंकि पुट राइटिंग अगर डेटा हम देखें डेरिवेटिव्स में तो 1200 के लेवल पे काफी सिग्निफिकेंट पुट राइटिंग है। तो मुझे लग रहा है 1190 से 1200 ये एक जोन आपका स्टॉप लॉस बन के होना चाहिए। और आखिरी में सीडीएसएल। अब ये सारे चार्ट्स जो हमने डिस्कस किए ना, ये जो 5-6 चार्ट्स हमने अभी तक जो आपके जो स्टॉक्स आपने जो पूछे, उसमें मुझे अगर सबसे बढ़िया चार्ट या सबसे बेटर चार्ट जो लगा है वो है सीडीएसएल। बिकॉज यहाँ पे अगेंस्ट द मार्केट एक मोमेंटम बन रहा है, एक आउट परफॉर्मेंस हम देख रहे हैं। आज भी स्टॉक 2-2.5% तेज था। तो मुझे लग रहा है सीडीएसएल लोअर लेवल्स जैसे 1480 1500 का लेवल है, उसको एक स्टॉप लॉस मान के चले। और यहाँ पे अगले कुछ सप्ताह में मुझे लग रहा है 1650 से लेकर 1700 के लेवल्स भी आ सकते हैं। तो ये इसे होल्ड करिए, इसे पैनिक में मत बेचिए। Sunny, the next question I guess is on an IPO.
Yeah, so Vishal ji, I think you should stay remain invested in a Western carrier now. Post due to this correction, now stock is trading at a very attractive valuation. So we have already seen correction from highs of 177, 175, now trading at 116. And the company has the potential to deliver 70 to 80 crore of annualized profit, trading at close to 15 time price to earning multiple. I think it's a good opportunity now. In fact, in case you have been allocated IPO, I would suggest that continue to stay remain invested, and you can average it out also. And I think within logistic as a sector is anyway commodity sector. There is nothing much to offer. But within logistic, there are certain companies which have created niche for themselves. A case in point, companies like TVS Supply Chain, which predominantly caters to very large brand pool from auto sector. At the same time, Concor, which predominantly cater to railway freight. So I think so certain companies delivery, which is a predominantly a proxy play on growth story of e-commerce in India. So as the number of parcel delivery increases, delivery tend to manifest. And recently, we have also seen that company is on the path of recovery. So within logistics sector, there are few names where one should focus from a long-term perspective, which we have discussed right now. I think again I miss alluding to the fact somebody has asked on RRP semiconductor, and I promised that I will give answer to that question. So I was looking at that company. The company is moving circuit to circuit. I mean, there is no stopping from a mid single digit number to right now. But one thing which I have noticed is that it's an basically takeover candidate, wherein some promoter has taken over some a defunct company, and he's trying to build a semiconductor business into that. Apart from that, there is no revenue, no EBITDA, no PAT, nothing is there in the balance sheet. So it seems to be the case of reverse merger. Again, it's a high risk, high return bet. We don't know what the new promoter is trying to do. Looking at the name of the company, it seems that they are trying to build some semiconductor business in this company. And again, I would suggest you that it's a wait and watch kind of stock. The stock which is moving circuit to circuit. I mean, what call like one can take in that. So in case you want to invest in this company, kindly stay alert. It's a very high risk, high return bet. Kindly stick to your asset allocation. Don't deploy significant saving or working or your corpus in that company. Gradually let the company reveal its business plan, and then you can gradually add the position in your portfolio. And at the same time, I would like to say that this is not the time to get very adventurous on the stock prices. So better to stick to a good quality name at a current juncture when the market is in correction mode. I think Sudeep, it's already 5:20, and I think now we can wrap up the show. And I'm still there are many questions which are left to be answered, but definitely we can get in touch with them through their relationship manager. So
Yes, and Sunny, what we can do is we can just share with them our email address, also research email address, so that it would be handy for them, so that they could send an email in case few of the queries have got missed. Because a lot of queries, say Dr. Reddy's or those. I'm just reading the last few queries. Dr. Reddy's, Reliance. Then railway stocks we've already discussed, BEL, or we have discussed most of them, CDSL. So we have discussed most of them. So most a few of them are repetitive queries also. But I guess Sunny, before we just end the repetitive, there are few queries on the railway stocks. So if you would just like to address them before our closing remarks, because there are only two common queries that I am seeing. One is on Wari renewables and one is on the railway stocks. I guess they are topping the charts in the last say 15-20 queries.
yeah, I think yeah. So I think are you sharing that email ID, Sudeep? Tej, are
Yeah,
you? Do you have that?
the email. Yeah, so we would just put it in the chat box also in a while. So it's research@sbicapsec.com. You would get in the chat box in the next couple of minutes. So on this, any queries on research or any stocks holding, wherever you require any help directly, please do mail it. These emails are directly accessible with me and Sunny and a few of our team members. So you'd get an immediate, or at least the replies would be there in a couple of days time period maximum. So you could, whatever query you have, any help you require, you could put your email on this. You could write in your mail on this email ID. So if I'm not wrong, it has already been posted. Yeah, it will get posted in a minute now. So meanwhile, Sunny, if you would just share your view on this thing, on the two spaces, Wari as well as the railway stocks, before we end this session.
Yeah, so we have already discussed the railway counter. So within railway counter, we continue to remain bullish on railway wagon as a space, Titagad, Jupiter, Texmaco, and on the metro side, BML looks good. So that's the catch on railway side. Coming to Wari, uh, which one Wari? I don't know Wari. So there are basically now two listed companies.
Wari Renewables is the.
Yeah, so Wari renewable, yeah, so we have already seen, I mean, kind of more than 50% correction on the Wari renewable. The stock price is close to 1400 right now, and again, despite of significant correction, the company continue to trade at an expensive valuation. So what I would suggest that within the solar EPC space, better to stick to a company like KPI Green, where we are more confident compared to the Wari renewable. So I think I would suggest that better to stick to company like KPI Green within the solar EPC space, where the valuation is relatively comfortable compared to Wari Renewable.
So I
Yeah.
guess that's about it for the session. And friends, thank you so much for attending this session and sticking by for the last 1 hour 20 minutes. Or I hope it has been a fruitful session for you. Starting with the Nifty views, Bank Nifty view, the sectoral view, what the global markets look like, and while Sunny also has discussed a lot on the sectors, or what kind of setups or what kind of spaces one should be watching out for in terms of stocks and sectors. So I guess a lot of things we have discussed in this, and whatever queries may yet be unanswered, we have already shared our email ID. So please feel free to share your inputs, your queries on the same email ID. Sunny, over to you.
Yeah, thank you everyone for attending this session and making this an interactive one. And there is one comment from Mr. Vasan that you tend to repeat talk on the same stock, taking away useful time, so others are not answer. So, in fact, this is my request to every one of you that please avoid posting the queries on the similar stock again and again, so that we can address queries on as many stocks as possible. Vasanji, we can't keep leave a few of our friends by not answering to their query. So for us, everyone is on a similar page, and we try to address each and every query. But now, due to paucity of time, we need to wrap up this session. Don't worry, we do keep on conducting such webinars at a regular interval. In fact, next week also there are many 2-3 webinars which are lined up. So you can join those webinar and try to get clarified all your remaining doubts. And at the same time, we have already shared an email ID also. So we are always available to resolve your queries. And thank you everyone once again on behalf of SBI Securities for taking time out from your busy schedule and making this session interactive. And have a fantastic evening. Good day. Bye.